but I didn't know, like, there's a franchise for every industry. And you go down the street, and if you're driving in a truck, you'll see that's probably a franchise that's out there. And really, it was just kind of enlightening. Wow, there's a franchise for dog grooming. There's a franchise for indoor golf. There's a franchise for IV infusion. I mean, there is a franchise for everything, not just restaurants. And I think a lot of people just think the franchise world is the restaurant game, but it's a massive, massive, massive.
Welcome to the Business Ownership Podcast, brought to you by Awareness Strategies, helping you navigate the waters between entrepreneurship and ownership.
There we go.
Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedlick, and I'm super glad that you're here with us today because I'm here with my most amazing guest, James. James, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. So give everybody the highlight of who you are and what you do for business.
Well, what I do is I'm a franchise broker. I work with athletes and professionals. And what I do is I match athletes, professionals to franchise business opportunities that are out there.
Well, so how did you get started working with athletes?
Well, it was kind of a long journey, really, of getting that. So I'll give you the story. I started in the restaurant business. Worked my way up. Was with a big chain, and then another company, a smaller company, said, "Hey, we're really trying to grow our franchise side of the business. We have one store. Will you come help us?" I said, "Sure, absolutely." So I started when we had one store, built that chain up over to 100 stores, and was working supporting the franchisees. And then the largest franchisee for that company said, "Hey, why don't you come work with us, partner with us, be a partner, and help us out?" And happened to be owned by two NFL football player brothers. And so we stuck with that company. We did another franchise on our own that was an ice cream franchise. We did our own cookie dough franchise, and then we did our own coffee shop. Then one of the brothers, he retired from the NFL, and the other brother got hurt, couldn't fulfill the end of his contract. So they decided they were going to go into the tequila business, which I have nothing against the tequila business. It's a fun business, right? Unfortunately, I didn't really have many contacts in that area, and just really probably wasn't something that was for me. So I was looking around going, okay, what do I want to stay in the restaurant business? Do I, what do I want to do? And from my experience working with the brothers and athletes, I saw a lot of people that came up to them offering them some crazy investment schemes or just any way to kind of grab their money. And I thought, well, I really enjoyed when I worked with franchisees directly, and I did hear stories about how they got into the chain, and some of them didn't do their due diligence the best. And I just thought, I kind of want to help people in the franchise world. So I thought, well, why don't I be a franchise broker, focus on athletes, but always, of course, deal with professionals that are in corporate America, or even existing franchisees looking to add to their portfolio. So really what I do is I show the options that are out there for prospective franchisees, athletes, business people, and then I'll give them maybe 5 to 10 different options. I'll introduce them into the franchisor. Then I'll stay with them during the whole time to make sure it's a match, show them how to read an FDD, how to verify if it's a good system with franchisees in the system. So I don't really sell anything, so it's just kind of think of it as the matchmaking game.
So I think it's particularly cute that you can sell ice cream to top athletes, but not tequila. Those really match all that well. That is awesome. And who doesn't like ice cream, right? I had a client once who ran an ice cream store, and she's like, you can sell desserts, you can sell anything, but everybody turns into a little kid when it comes to selling ice cream.
And one of the things really that when you own a ice cream business, a lot of people think, wow, December, January, it's so cold out, no one wants ice cream. That's not really true.
It's on different flavors.
Yeah, it's a year-round business.
They just want Baileys in their ice cream. That's all.
Right, exactly.
I love it. So now that you've been in the industry for a while, what are some of the things, let's start with we'll go down the negative road when we'll end up in the happy road. What are some of the things that drive you crazy about the franchise world that you might not have known or didn't know before you got into it?
Well, I think really for a lot of people, and then myself, I mean, of course, I knew there were many different franchises and many different industries, but I didn't know like there's a franchise for every industry. And you go down the street, and if you're driving in a truck, you'll see that's probably a franchise that's out there. And really, it was just kind of enlightening. Wow, there's a franchise for dog grooming. There's a franchise for indoor golf. There's a franchise for IV infusion. I mean, there is a franchise for everything, not just restaurants. And I think a lot of people just think the franchise world is the restaurant game, but it's a massive, massive, massive.
Well,
So
and what I think is
imagine,
particularly fun about that you bring is like you look at a driving range, a golf driving range, right? And you go, oh, there's a franchise for that. Well, yeah, and there's a franchise for the people that provide the tables. There's a franchise for the people that provide the cameras. There's a franchise for the people, like even when you kind of go right down into all the idiosyncrasies that they need to be able to produce or to function, there's something in there as well. And I think if it's out of sight, out of mind, we don't see it. But then what we don't realize is that there's so many opportunities there that lie within.
and imagine if you're by yourself doing this journey on your own, and you're looking at franchises, you're overwhelmed because there's over 7,000 franchises out there. So I would always recommend finding myself, but other franchise brokers that are out there that'll help you narrow it down, because even though there's that many franchises out there, I have really about 400 to 500 that I kind of really vetted out that I know are good, solid franchises. And then I help the client dive into those.
Nice. Well, I always love the client or the question, what's the best franchise to go into?
Oh, that's just crazy, right?
I'm gonna put you up on your pedestal and let you go
Yeah,
on that one.
right. That is silly. Oddly enough, I really don't recommend the restaurant business for franchises, and I don't do that only because very hard to run. If you don't have a good infrastructure in place, then I don't recommend it. If you're a restaurateur, absolutely. But the restaurant business, you're looking at probably about 800K to over $1 million per restaurant. So if one of those fails, that's really hard to recover from. So when you say what's kind of hot out there, well, the pet industry is really hot out there. Dog grooming is on the top of the list, one of the ones that typically always show very strong margins that are there, very much in need. It's much like you find a good construction worker, that guy's kind of gold in the company. You find a great dog groomer and it gives great pricing, that's gold. And then the other thing too is you can't wash your dog on Amazon.
What?
You can't do that. So you have that competition. You can limit it to yourself, and especially if you're doing it right and doing it great. So it's
Nice.
very good.
Well, and McDonald's is infamous for being able to take a 15-year-old that knows nothing on anything and being able to help them to do a job. Does the same thing apply for, say, pet grooming and for other kind of skilled labor kind of, because you can franchise a paint company, how do you kind of find these people, and or do they help you? Do some not? How does that all work?
Yeah, they usually always help you. You really don't need to have the experience. And one of the things when I find with working with athletes, especially when they go into a franchise model, they're very successful because they're used to following a playbook all their lives. And a franchisor gives you that business playbook and you follow that to a T, chances are you're going to be very successful. So in even something like HVAC, which is air conditioning, you may not know how anything about HVAC, but you could own an HVAC franchise, and the franchisor, they help you find the right people to hire. That if you have to you have to have a license to do that, but they help you find the people to hire. Sometimes they have a license holder that they can provide for you, and they give you training on how to run that business. So you're running the business. You're not really working in a HVAC business. So it is, they teach you, you don't have to know, that much about it. That's for sure.
Well, and talk to me about that concept, because I think a lot of people do get very confused about that. If I buy a business, I'm the CEO and the COO, right? And it's like, no, you're the owner.
Yeah, you're the
Well, and
owner.
maybe athletes understand that better, is that the owner comes in, watches the game, and leaves.
Right, exactly. Now, there's some franchises, because there are some people that are very handy and they want to be the guy in the truck, and that's kind of how they want to run their business. I mean, you at that point you're just saying, okay, I'm limiting myself to one van, and you really need to figure out how to scale it. But in the beginning, you might do that one truck and build the business, then step back and keep adding and pulling away from the day to day, where you're just, now you're working on the business instead of in the business. So definitely you are the owner. So in a franchise world, you own the business. It is your money, it's your business, it's your equipment that's out there. You own the equipment. You're going to hire the employees. You're doing everything in that business. So the franchisor is not like, hey, we're going to run this for you, and then you're just going to sit back and collect the money. There are some of those out there like that, but for the most part, it's you're responsible for your business. It's your asset, and you're responsible for failing or not. And one thing I always tell clients is, when you're looking, look for a franchisor that's going to provide you with great training and great support, and have that ongoing support. Because at the end of the day, really your success it depends on you. So you want to give yourself the best chance and get the one that's going to give you the best training and best support.
So oftentimes I'll also hear that, going in and doing your initial interview is much like corporate, where HR makes it sound like it's all angels and fairy dust, and then the reality of working there is a little different. Do you have kind of information of how somebody can kind of differentiate between, they look like they show a lot of support, but once you start drilling down, they're giving more support to all the other people that haven't bought yet?
Yeah, so that's a very great question, because really, like you said, when your initial call there, it sounds great, and they're interviewing you much like you should be interviewing them, because you're going to be business partners. So during this discovery and all those talks, they're going to give you the presentation of what they do, how they do it, and how good they're going to be. How do we drill down and really find out if that's true? Well, franchisees in the system. So they are the key to learning truly, how much can you make? Would you do this business again? What changes would you make? It's verifying with franchisees in the system, and you get a list of all the franchisees in the system, and you need to call a lot of them, just to make sure that you are going to get the support that they say, and that it really is a good system. Because the franchisees, they're going to be honest, and they're going to tell you. And you might not get, if you call 10 franchisees, you're probably not going to get all 10 singing their praises. You might get one or two, but also keep in mind, there might be something behind the one or two, because they might be the ones who got into the franchise business thinking that they had to do nothing, and then they didn't work on their business, so they're struggling. So now it's the franchisor's fault. So you have to kind of decipher and kind of figure out after talking with them, who's the top performers and performers, and who may be one that's slackers. They might be a little not very happy.
Yeah, totally get that. So what would you say is your favorite part of what you do?
I think really the opportunity for client to own their own business, or just to have that opportunity to have generational wealth. There was actually a former minor league baseball player. He was good. He was a #1 draft pick. He didn't actually make it into the major leagues, but he made it really, really high in there. He got done playing, and he took a job in corporate America. Didn't really like it. And he was like, I'm used to being an entrepreneur because I bet on myself. I've been an athlete, so I take care of my body. That was my job, and I want to do something for my family, and I want to create generational wealth. And he wound up. We looked at different options, and you're going to laugh now because he picked dog grooming. So he signed a 3-store deal. The first unit that he's going to do, his wife and daughter are going to open that and run it. And then store number 2, he's going to transition from corporate America into into the dog grooming world. And they're hoping to go 3, 4, 5, 6, down the line to build that generational wealth and make it truly a family business.
And who doesn't like dogs? Come on, they're adorable, especially when they leave the store. They're so cute.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. So what would you say is one of the most interesting franchises you've ever come across?
Well, when you say interesting, several people right now are looking. It's the pet industry. I need to get off this, but it is. It's picking up dog poop. So this particular franchise, they come in. Yeah, they pick up dog poop in the residential areas, and their crews go out and do that. But they also treat the lawn. So where the brown spots is. So you have lawn treatment, dog cleanup, and then they also go after HOAs to clean up geese, horse poop in the HOAs and parks. So it's very, you wouldn't think that would be a franchise, but it does very well. Another one,
We're getting back into the franchises that serve golf.
Yeah.
Cleaning up the goose poop.
Yeah, exactly. And then another one, I had a client that was, he was actually it was an athlete. He was a NBA player, and he was looking at a franchise, and his wife was going to run it. And they wound up choosing a wedding dress company. So a wedding dress franchise where they design wedding dresses, and so she had her own little bridal shop. That's what she got into, and so that was a little bit different.
That would be quite hilarious to be trying on bridal dresses, and all of a sudden this huge NFL player comes around the corner going, "Yeah, it looks really good on you."
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly.
Start doing the fitting on me. It's like, no, I'm good.
So that
But they
was
might
very,
actually
yeah.
really
You
like it
wouldn't think
either
it
way.
would mix, but it did mix. It mixed very well. So yeah, definitely.
Awesome. That's super fun. Now, I know our listeners are going to want more from you. How did they start that journey with you?
So the frandream.com, or email is james@thefrandream. Would love to help any listener out. Just have a casual conversation of, is franchise ownership for you, and what does it look like? And and most of the journeys, I will say, when you're talking with franchisors, it's not like sitting there buying a used car. They're not saying you must buy, you must buy. It's like, hey, here's what we do. Here's how we support you. And if you're still interested, let's discover, and maybe let's do business together. So it's more of, can we be partners? Are you interested in being a partner? And on the franchisor side, truly, it's, are we interested in being a partner with you? I have had franchisors say, I'm sorry, your client's not a fit for us, and we're going to stop the discovery process, and it's just not going to work.
And I think this is an important concept to kind of tag in on, because a lot of people are, quote unquote, like afraid of being sold something. And I think they need to understand that a franchise doesn't want to sell their franchises. That's not where they make the money selling the franchises. When you make money, they're making more money. That's where the goal is. I mean, you have to put some, skin in the game, but that's not their end game. So understanding that is, when they say your first step is to make a phone call, make the phone call. It's not, you're nothing is going on other than a conversation about what it is you're looking for. Who are you as an individual? And sometimes a lot of people don't realize who they are as an individual when they've been kind of this A-type thing over here all their lives. It's like, what does that possibly have to do with running a business? So there is a lot of kind of self understanding and speculation is not the word I'm looking for. Introspection, that's the word I'm looking for. To be able to figure out kind of what do you want to be when you grow up, kind of thing, and what is possible.
Yeah, and the last thing the franchisor wants to do is have a franchisee that's not a fit for the system, because it's not a good relationship, because now the franchisor has to explain, well, we had one termination. Well, what? You had a termination? You must be a terrible franchise. And then you have to explain it, and you have to hope that you or have explained it well enough to where you've satisfied maybe another potential franchisee that it's okay. So it really is not in the franchisor's best interest just to sell. It's really not a good strategy if you're a franchisor.
What are some of the most surprising things that you have seen that people have to figure out before they can make a decision on which kind of franchise is right for them?
Well, I think the first thing is really they have to overcome the fear of stepping out and betting on themselves, and to capture that fear and go, okay, if I'm going to do this, am I 100% in on doing this? And I think the fear of stepping out is the biggest hurdle, because we could be talking about the franchise. You could say it sounds great, and now it's like, okay, now it's time to sign. And don't let that fear overtake you of being an entrepreneur and stepping out, because you're going to miss that opportunity. Almost everyone that I talk to after I placed them, they go, man, I wish I would have done this a lot earlier. That's typically what you hear. It's not like, darn it, I wish I was back at my desk and slaving for my boss and working 9 to 5. Yeah, I don't really get that much. So it's get away from that fear. I've had clients go all the way to the end and have this great business and great territory, and then they just go, but what if I lose my money? But what if you take a shot at this, and now you have something to build on, and you are going to build on this franchise, open another one, and you're going to build not I mean really the wealth is nice, but just that of you're having something of your own, you're building it, you control your schedule. If you want to go watch your kids play sports, you can do that. You just have more control over your life in many different aspects. So just not work, it's just all the aspects of your life. It would be so much more easier, and it's a lot easier to get up when you're working for yourself than when you get up and go, gosh, now I got to drive and battle the traffic for an hour.
Right. Well, and it brings up an interesting kind of conundrum, I would think, especially for athletes, because I would think a lot of them are being, had been encouraged when they were little, right? You get up, and when you don't feel like doing it, your parents push you to the practice, and no, we are going to the practice, whether you feel like it or not, and you just learn that you have that support system there. Whereas in the entrepreneurial journey, it's like, oh, I think I want to go do this thing, and then you look around and everybody's like crickets. Do you, dude? Nobody cares anymore.
Right.
Like, how do you put that back into, I think it'd be really good at this. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And I think my lifestyle first, and then the job fits into it. So, and why are little kids' games always during somebody's work hours?
Right. Why is that?
Right.
I think it's to say,
figure that one out.
Be an entrepreneur. That's what it's supposed to be saying.
There you go. I love it. We will, of course, have all of James' links in the show notes. So go ahead and scroll down, click on the links, open up in a new browser, because we're not done yet. So, James, I get to ask you, at what point in life did you know you were especially kind of crazy enough to think that you could become an entrepreneur?
Well, I really think from being back in the day in my sports career of playing baseball and all that, I it was just that drive of being successful at a sport, and just looking and going, I like doing this myself. I have a great drive at it, and I think it's great. And then when I went to work for someone, it was okay. I still have the drive, but how do I make this fun and make it a great thing? And it typically was, let's make the restaurant now. it's sports team. I have my servers, I have the back of the house people. So we're like a big team. And I'm the manager, and I'm going to put my aces in their places, my cleanup hitter hitting cleanup, and just running the whole organization as a sports team. And then as I grew and got into upper management, then it was like, okay, I'm now the GM. So I have my good manager, and I'm going to direct them this way of how can we be the best and get the best out of our athletes on the field? How am I going to recruit for you and give you, better players? So it was always using that drive and using sports. And then it was really always, I saw a lot of my friends too, really, you think, especially now, I mean, it used to be when you would spend, 30 years, 40 years in the same job. And now it isn't like that anymore. And I will tell you, I've seen a lot of my colleagues that remained in the restaurant business where they got a little older, that the business just basically turned their back on them, going, hey, I can probably get someone younger to come in here and do this for half the price, and just turn their back. And and you hear stories of that. It's just, there's no loyalty really either way. But much like in the work business, you can't blame the worker for going out and getting a different job that's going to pay better. Much like the athlete when he leaves in free agency, and everybody goes, "Oh, he wasn't loyal to the team because he left because of more money." I'm like, well, would you, if you in your job, if someone came to you and said, "You're really great at what you do. I'm going to go to my competitor's job and they're going to pay you, 50,000 more." What would you do? Yeah, I think I would go. So, there's no loyalty anymore. And it really, just seeing that, the company cares about you, but at the end of the day, it's profit and loss.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a business. You got to take care of yourself.
Mm.
And yeah, being a fan of somebody for your entire life and having a career of 5 years,
Yep.
substantially different choices to be made. I love it. And I've always made kind of comparisons, sport analogies to business to get people to understand it. So I would think, and everybody laughs at me and goes, "Have you ever played sports?" I'm like, "I watch sports. I can get the concepts."
Right.
But to me, it's got to be easier to be able to take somebody from that successful sports mindset to be able to make all of the analogies, like the hiring and the different personalities and the different jobs for those different types, especially trying to get people to wrap their head around that in business. They're always like, "I just want a mini me." Whereas in sports, you have, 5 different positions to play. They have 5 very different personalities to fill. I would think that kind of that aspect of it is easier to to get athletes to understand.
You hit it right on the head. Is the athletes understand that I need teammates to make this dream work. Teamwork makes the dream work, and I need the best people that I can put out there.
Nice.
And that just makes it so much better for the athlete, where someone from corporate America might have that mini me and try to do all the jobs and just overwhelm themselves of, you need to hire and delegate and branch out. And so yeah, the athletes definitely have the advantage there for sure.
I love it. You have been absolutely awesome. Any last words for our peeps?
I would just say, look in the franchise world that's out there. There's many opportunities that you wouldn't even dream about besides dog grooming. There are many different things, just to take a chance, discover, see what's out there, and see if it's for you. And just start that dream of betting on yourself.
Love it. Thank you, James, for your time. I appreciate it. I know how valuable it is.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. It's been a great time having you on your show. Thank you.
Awesome. Peeps, this is Michelle Nedelec. Thank you for being here with us today. Be sure to subscribe to the show, share it with your friends. We love helping entrepreneurs grow.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.